come to the podium.
Thank you, Lieutenant Walsh. And good morning, everyone. Good morning. Mayor Koch, elected officials, Chiefs Thomas Gorman, Chief Paul O'Connell, Police Chief Paul Keenan, firefighters, family, and friends. Welcome to this year's Recruit Academy graduation. I want to recognize a number of elected officials here, and if I miss somebody, I apologize, and maybe somebody can point it out. We have Mayor Tom Koch here, who will be addressing the gathering in a few minutes. State Representative Bruce Ayers is with us. Councilor at Large Nina Lang. Councilor at Large Noel DeBonner is here. We also have the mayor that appointed me in 1978. Mr. Arthur Tobin, Clerk Magistrate, Quincy Courts. Mr. Tobin was also a state senator at that time. I have to thank him because he had the common sense to hire me. I understand you have a birthday Monday, Mr. Tobin. Happy birthday. Stephen Tobin is here as well, past state representative. Joe Newton is here, past city councilor and assistant clerk. And we welcome you all. I have a number of thank yous to get through. I want to start with Helen Murphy, the Human Resource Director, and her staff. They did an excellent job navigating through the civil service process, all the paperwork, all the other tests, physicals, what have you, that are required. It's a very long process. We started this process this time last year. So, thank you, Helen, for everything you've done. Chief Keenan is here, and I want to thank the Quincy Police Department. They did an exhaustive background check, which has really proved to provide the highest quality of candidates for the Quincy Fire Department. And I thank Chief Keenan and the members of his department for the system. The Academy staff is here as well. We did an outstanding job of molding these men into firefighters. And I have Captain George Wertz is here. He is the head drill instructor. Captain Richard Bryant, who assisted as well. Lieutenants Timothy Marks, Lieutenant James Campbell, firefighter Dan DeCoste, and our two mechanics who are part of the Firefighters Local, Master Mechanic Michael O'Connor, and motor mechanic Kevin Miller. And you guys did an outstanding job. We invited Mr. Quirk here today, and I'm sure he's a very busy man. I don't see him in the audience, but it's out of his generosity that we have had a facility in the shipyard for 20 years at least. I had coffee with Chief Tom Gorman, who has been a mentor to me throughout my career, yesterday. And he talked about how it came about that we wound up in the shipyard many years ago. And through his generosity, in over 20 years, we're still there. I know Mr. Quirk is, we occupy such a vital space in the shipyard that we'll be moving out soon, but I'll never forget his generosity in providing that space to us. Paul O'Connell is here today. I was a deputy chief under Paul. and learned an awful lot from him. And I think he was a little more comfortable at the podium than I am. But one of the things that he would relate to these recruits is these are your glory days. These are the days as you get through your career that you will always remember. The friendships that you'll have made, the situations you'll come across. Once you get to your assignments, you'll be amazed at the many varied things you respond to. I know you studied quite a few of them. And you'll be amazed at the work of the senior firefighters that are with you. It's a tremendous opportunity, and I think you all know that. This is one of the finest fire department in the country, and this is one of the greatest cities in the country to work for. And I think you all know that. I'm going to be brief. I'm just going to mention a couple of things. My first assignment in 1978 was in Howe's Neck. At that time, there was an engine and a ladder company there. And that was before smoke detector technology. And I was absolutely thrilled to be there. The truck that I was assigned to, this is 1978, I was 23 years old, was built in 1952. It was a convertible. And you stood on the back step. And it was a thrill to be able to do that. And I don't know if everybody in the room can realize what it's like in the middle of a blizzard to be riding in an open cab, have the windshield wipers going, and in between where you're sitting or driving, the storm is still raging. So it was a little different back then. And then of course you were on the back step, so that was a bit different as well. So my first assignment, Engine 6, Captain Murphy was my officer. Early on, and we didn't do driver training back then, you're going to take me out and have me drive the engine. 1952 Seagull. It was a standard vehicle. I had a Volkswagen at the time that was standard, so I thought, no big deal. I'll get in it, I can shift. Might have had 4 gears. We come out of the station on C Street and took a left. First gear is easy, that's where you start. Rev the engine, release the clutch. Well, that's when things started going bad. I start down the street, and I'm trying to get it into second gear, and all you can hear is gears grinding. I had a little bit of momentum. We continue down past Bernie's, getting close to the skating rink was there at the time. I am grinding gears, trying to get it into gear. I can't seem to do anything right. And the captain's beside me, and he kind of looking over at me, kind of making a face. It wasn't a pleasant face. Next thing you know, his legs are up on the seat. It was a bench seat across. Finally, I just pulled over. I couldn't get the thing to do anything. He got out of the cab. Didn't say anything to me. You know, what the hell's going on? I was afraid he was going to come around to the driver's side door and yank me out, fire me. Next thing you know, firefighter on the back step, Warren signs, comes up, gets in the cab. I turn around, the captain's on the back step. Very methodically, Warren signs, explained to me you have to double clutch these vehicles. We didn't have the old Seagraves were like it, the newer standards weren't. You had to depress the clutch to put it in gear, then depress it to take it out of gear and release the clutch, and then put it in again to put it into the next gear. So you had to clutch it twice. So Warren got up, instructed me, took me about an hour. I still grinded a few gears, but eventually got the hang of it. There'll be a lot of things that you'll be asked to do that you weren't trained to do. So when you get to those stations, you will find that key person. He'll either be assigned to you or he'll offer his help. And he'll take you through those difficult times. Not everything you do is going to work the first time. But in time, you'll grow into the job and you'll all do well. I talk about that old truck through the generosity of the city council and the mayor's initiative. Almost a year ago, we ordered 2 new engines. They're state-of-the-art engines. We expect them late August, early September. They have all of the modern features in them: rear view cameras, automatic transmissions, climate control. Deputy Chief Joe Jackson's here today. He worked with a committee of firefighters and officers that are assigned to those trucks, so that we outfit it in a way that's user-friendly to them. And so I'm very excited about getting those trucks, and I thank the mayor and I thank the city council. So you guys will see them coming in service. One will go to West Quincy, and the other one goes to headquarters. So I've talked to you recruits a number of times, and we've talked about a number of issues. Social media, different items as you get to your station. But you need to continue training in learning your trade, your profession. When I left House Neck, I got a bid to go to headquarters. As much as I loved House Neck, I wanted to be in headquarters, where there was a lot more activity. Not just responding around the station. There's a group of young guys up there. Some of them are here today, retired. And there was always something happening. We had 2 engines at headquarters, the rescue, the ladder truck, the deputy chief, and now what we call incident command technician that rides with him. We'd have 18 guys in the kitchen throwing a meal. And there's an awful lot of pranks and a lot of good times that happened there. And there was a lot of activities when we were off duty. We all took classes, or most of us. At the time, the fire science program, I don't believe Massasoit was there. We're talking 35 years ago. We went to Bunker Hill Community College to get the fire science degree. And you have to remember, well, you don't have to remember because you weren't there, but 35 years ago, we didn't have the internet. And so the information wasn't as disseminated as it is today. You firefighters with the internet have the ability to access courses throughout the state. And I urge you to take advantage of it. They're available at the Department of Fire Services, local colleges, and online. So I encourage you to continue to do that. So with that, hopefully I haven't missed anyone that I'd like to introduce. We do have a number of deputy chiefs in the room. Could I get the active duty deputy chiefs just to stand up, please? These are your incident commanders. These are in charge of each shift. You'll get to know them, and as we talk about in training, you're responsible for your own safety, wearing all your personal protective equipment that you have. You are the first group that was issued 2 sets of turnout gear. Unfortunately, cancer is a reality to firefighters, and there are things that you can do to protect yourself, and you need to do. So we have SOPs that I believe you've been instructed on cleaning your gear. Make sure that you do that. Okay? With that, I'm going to ask the mayor to, well, I have one more story. Let me just, before I ask the mayor. I got a call. I belong to a couple of chiefs groups, the state group, Metro Fire, Norfolk County. I got a call a few weeks back when we were hiring all these gentlemen. The chief called me and said, my mayor told me to call you. He wants to know, how did you get all these firefighters? How did you get them assigned? And I told him, he asked if it was a grant. I said, no, it wasn't a grant. The mayor lived up to a promise he made in an election cycle. He was going to see the rescue truck in service. And he worked with the union and brought this about. And the result is all you gentlemen, 16 of you, make up what it takes to staff that rescue. And I'm very thankful to the mayor for doing that, and I'm very thankful for the union for playing its role. Lieutenant Mike Palazzo is here. He's in the corner of the room, union president of Local 792. They do an excellent job. When I did talk to you guys, I mentioned half of you will be officers. Some of you will become very active in the union, and I encourage you to do that. The benefits that we have, that we enjoy, the working conditions, they are in very large part due to the union. And so I encourage you to do that. So with that, it's my great honor to introduce the mayor of this city, the Honorable Thomas Cohn.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Chief. He didn't finish that story when he took the left out of the firehouse on C Street, trying to get into gear. 3 people died in a fire down there. Waiting for a good chief to get there. Just kidding, of course. There's been a lot of changes in the fire service over the years, and I know the retired chiefs have seen that, certainly with equipment and technology, and certainly the situations that folks face on those scenes. So certainly a privilege to bring the greetings of the city this morning, Reverend Clergy, Chief, and the entire staff of our Quincy Fire Department, the deputies, those that were in charge of the school, Representative Ayers, Councilors Liang and Councilor DeBonner. Appreciate their support. Clerk Magistrate Tobin, good to see you, as always. You know, the Chief alluded to the numbers that we put on this year, and the last, when I took office, we had some tough financial years, and I don't know if I had known at the time the economy was going to be such when I was running. I don't know that I would have run, because I didn't run to go in and lay people off. One of the worst things we can do. Having said that, over the years we've built back what I think in every area of government, all the missions that we serve, whether it's police, fire, schools, education. I think we're in a great place. We're able to do that because we have great cooperation. We work very well together. The reality is, yes, we want to get the rescue truck back in service. The second part of that is looking at the list. You know, Colin, working with Helen, and I know all of you are familiar with dying on a list. Whether it's getting on or whether it's promotionals, it's not fun. You work hard to get where you are. You know, there were some names on that list that I had seen that didn't make it in prior years. I gotta be careful, it's the press here. Senator Keenan, good to see you up there, John. The reality is, looking at that list, and the deeper you looked at the list, and the quality of the people on that list, the quality families that were on that list, I said, we gotta get there. So there's 2 things. One is to fully man all the pieces. 2 is to get to some great kids and families. And some of them aren't kids, but some great families of our city. And of course, some of my staff was saying, how are we going to pay for it? And my typical answer is, we'll worry about that later. Well, later is now, and I want to thank our city council for supporting the appropriation of the budget that fully funds our fire department for all those positions, for all the overtime necessary to do the job. So I join with your families today in gratitude for your commitment to what you're doing, but also with the pride they're feeling in you choosing the fire service. You are joining an incredible department with great leadership. The chief and the officers of this department are just amazing. We're working well with the equipment now, and feel free to call the council about the money we have before them about the firehouses. We're going to do some more work to the firehouses, so sorry to put you on the spot, councilors. But we're really getting there, and I know that it's a great day for you. I know some of you, many of you personally, I know some of you that didn't make the cut in previous exams. I know how frustrated you were because you wanted to serve. So It's a great, great day for the city of Quincy. It's a great day for your families, and it's a great day for you. You now become part of the firefighter family. You now become part of the city family. And as you probably have seen and know, the city family sticks together, works together for one reason, really to serve the residents of the city, giving them the best possible service that they deserve. And in your line of work, it's the most important. When that call comes in, the residents of the city are counting on you. And I know that you are counting on the residents and the mayor and the council to give you the resources you need. I think we're doing that. But they're counting on you. You're going to go into situations, you've been trained. The chief talked about there'll be times when perhaps you'll hit something that you're not really sure we're trained for. But your gut tells you the right thing to do. Treat everybody like they're your family. Your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. I'm just incredibly proud of our fire department, our city. Proud of each of you today. Congratulations. Good luck. God bless you in your service to this great city. Thank you.
Just leave it there. I'm going to pull it back down.
Our remarks about you coming up. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. At this point, before I introduce Captain George Wirtz, drill master of 2017 recruit class, I had a few remarks I wanted to read. Actually, Chief Barron did a great job just recognizing everybody who was part of the class down there. When myself and Captain Wirtz got on almost 14 years ago, we were the largest class in QFD history, recent history. This class is even larger than that. And the amount of time and logistics, undertaking, the support, the planning that needs to go in there is really overwhelming. And Captain Wirtz, Captain Bryan, the other support staff did a tremendous job. So I would personally like to thank Captain Wirtz for allowing me to help out. And if I could speak on behalf of the other support staff that came down, we'd like to thank you very much for letting us be a part of the class. Pay me after this, Captain Wirtz. At this time, Captain Wirtz, everybody, drill master, class of 2017.
The only nice thing he's ever said about me. Before we get into recognizing the recruits, I just want to take an opportunity to thank some people. Running a drill school for 26 recruits is a huge undertaking, and it could not have been done without the help from multiple people and multiple agencies. So first and foremost, I want to thank the chief. The chief made sure that we had everything we needed on a daily basis, and without that, it wouldn't have been possible. So thank you, chief. I want to thank the mayor of our great city, Mayor Thomas Cope, for recognizing the needs of the city as well as the department and putting our staffing levels to where they need to be. So thank you, Mayor Cope. And I also want to thank Mr. Dan Quirk. For those of you who aren't familiar with the training facility for the Quincy Fire Department, it's located directly in the middle of the shipyard in Quincy Point. And that property is owned by Mr. Quirk. So when we approached him about doing a drill school, he was more than accommodating, couldn't have been more accommodating. He had to move hundreds of cars. He let us use multiple buildings within the facility. So a huge thank you to Mr. Quirk for accommodating us and allowing us to do Finally, I want to thank the members of this department who contributed on a daily basis. We had some members come down to the drill school multiple times throughout drill school, and it would not have been possible to work with 26 recruits without that help. It allowed us to break the groups down into smaller groups and allowed these guys to get more evolutions in. Some of these guys are here today, Lieutenant Walsh, Captain Cosgrove, Lieutenant Lentini. If I missed anybody, they're in the program. I just can't see back there, it's too dark. But they were crucial in helping us get this drill school done. I especially want to thank the core group of guys that were there on a daily basis to help us do this drill school. Captain Rich Bryan, Lieutenant Tim Marks, Lieutenant James Campbell, firefighter Dan DeCoste, and our mechanics, Mike O'Connor and Kevin Meller. They were there every day planning, preparing, doing evolutions, doing lectures, and without their support, this drill school does not happen. So thanks, guys. I know I speak for every instructor that came down to the shipyard, and there were a lot of them, when I say that we have a really good group of guys here. And I wouldn't lie, just because there's 300 people in the room. We have a really good group of guys here. We constantly challenge them. We challenge them every day, whether it was academically or physically. And they always rose to meet or exceed that challenge. You can ask any instructor in here and they'll tell you the same thing. Whether it was Mike Monterano with his, Mike, stand up, with his 6 a.m., come on, stand up. With his 6 a.m. swim classes, he would put on, and I'm dead serious about this, he would put on swim classes at the Lincoln Hancock Pool. For those of you who aren't familiar, on the Quincy Fire Department, our PT is swimming. It's a tradition, every morning for an hour. And some guys are weaker than others, some guys are a lot stronger than others. I didn't know he swam competitively at BC High. Some guys didn't swim at all. So they were required to be in the pool by 7 a.m. every day. And that was it, 7 a.m. they were required to be in the pool. Mike noticed that a few guys needed help, and he got there at 6 a.m. every day, took time away from his family, showed up early to help guys that needed help. And if you direct your attention to the back screen, we awarded Mike with the QFD Recruit Class Perman Award. That was the story of drill school. It was a team effort. You know, Wendell Cosgrove helping other guys out with their academics at the end of a long day. We usually broke around 4 o'clock. You know, Wendell would hang out, help a couple guys with their academics. We weren't easy on them, and they rose to meet the challenge. So at this time, I want to congratulate these guys. I'm proud of you. You guys deserve this. Welcome to the Quincy Fire Department. So I'm going to hand that mic back over to Lieutenant Walsh. But before I do that, we're going to begin the pinning process. We have 26 guys that need to be pinned. So if you are a pinner, if you wouldn't mind getting in